I'm Ronnie Calhoun, and you're watching the Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. Let's go! We are very excited to have Mr. Dan the Man, as we call him, but Mr. Dan Gibson, the mayor of Natchez, as our very first guest. How are you?
I'm great, Ronnie. I'm really excited to be here.
we're excited about this.
I love what you're doing. I mean, golly, your positive energy in this is great for Miss Lou.
Well, we're trying to shine the positivity. You know, there's a lot of people here. We have a lot of champions. You know me, and you know my buzzword is champion. I have a champion day. And we have so many champions here in our community, and we think that it's time to shine the spotlight on people who are doing awesome things. Yeah. Too often, people get overlooked, and it's time for us to take the spotlight and shine it on the people who are doing things the right way, contributing. So
I love it. That's great.
So everybody watching this knows what a wonderful job Mr. Dan has done in the first year. So how long have you been in there so far?
Oh, man, a year and 2 weeks.
A year and 2 weeks.
I think it is. Maybe 3 now.
It's
been awesome, though.
I can only imagine.
July 24th was our 1 year anniversary.
Okay. Yeah. And as a citizen, as a business owner, as a school teacher across the river, I can say, I speak for a lot of people when we say thank you for everything that you've done.
Oh, man, thank you, Ronnie.
And
thank you.
We could talk all night about Natchez, but what I really wanted to do with this interview in particular is to get to know you a little bit more. Everybody kind of sees you around town, and they know that you're doing awesome things. But a lot of people I've gotten to know you a little bit over this past year, and I really enjoyed getting to know you. And I want to give the viewers an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better.
All right.
So let's just dive in.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So let's just start from the beginning. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where you were born, where you were raised, and a little bit about sort of your upbringing.
I really hit the jackpot with parents. I had great parents, and they were both products of the greatest generation. My dad, a World War II hero, and my mother, just one of those salt of the earth Mississippi women. And she grew up in the Depression, and so that created metal. They don't make them like that anymore. Right. And then they had a family. They were both from the Utica, Carpenter area, rural Hines County and Copiah County. Okay. But they moved to Jackson. I was born the fourth of 4 boys.
Okay, wow.
And then I was brought up in Jackson.
Okay. So you're the 4th of 4 boys.
I am the youngest, and
what are your siblings' names?
I tell you, well, you've got Craig, my oldest brother, and he's a wonderful big brother. Always was. Next, I have Mark, and Mark was always the one who. Well, I just love Mark, and he was in the Navy. He's a retired Navy captain.
Oh, wow.
But he's more famous as being the guy who introduced me to grass as being something you ate when your face was applied to it. And then my brother Bob. I have a brother who's about 4 or 5 years older than me now. He is special needs.
Okay. Yeah.
One of the happiest people I know.
Wow.
And
we talked about this before.
Yeah. And so my brother Bob actually is the reason. We're all real. We're a bunch of softies in my family because Bob kind of made us that way. Yeah. My brother Craig's retired. My brother Mark is retired, and my brother Bob lives in Kilmichael, Mississippi, where he has a very active career through the Hustler program and lives in a group home there and has a work facility there.
Wow, that's amazing.
And they spoiled me rotten.
They beat you up a little when you needed it, and spoiled.
Definitely did that.
That's part of it, I think.
I said, why do they pick on me all the time? My mom used to say, well, that means they love you.
Yeah, that's right.
I said, well, I feel really loved.
That's right. So what type of home did you come from? Was it a sort of a middle class home? Or?
Yeah, it was. My dad, he never went past 10th grade. His father, my grandfather, died of an injury at a farm where they were during the Depression. Oddly enough, just cut himself on a rusty nail and gangrene set in. And not only did he pass away, of course, on a weekend, but the family was pretty much put off the farm just within a week or two. Everything was borrowed, including the the crop in the field.
Wow.
And so my dad, they had to move to a little shotgun house across from a cemetery there in downtown Utica.
Okay.
And then my mother grew up out in the country. She was the valedictorian Utica High School class of 47.
Okay.
But she never got a chance to go to college. But they were self-taught, just great, hardworking people, and they really blessed me. My older brother Craig was the first in our family and my dad's family and many of my mothers to go to college, and went to Mississippi State. And then I followed in that path later on.
Okay. Yeah, you're talking about your parents. That generation, just amazing people. I mean,
they were amazing.
The adversity that so many of that group had to overcome.
Yeah.
And to get the generations after to where we are today. I mean, there's a reason they're called the greatest generation.
Amen.
I mean,
we're the grateful generation.
I hope so. I try to be.
We
better be grateful. So tell me about school. What kind of student were you? Were you a good student?
I've always been. I'm very competitive.
Okay.
And the Lord did not bless me in the athletic department. And so about the only way I could compete was in the classroom. Okay. So I always worked hard, tried to make good grades and tried to, do whatever I could, the best I could.
Yeah.
And I did really have parents who really pushed me to do my best. My mother especially. Oh, my gosh. She just wouldn't accept anything but the best. So I owe a lot to her.
Where did you attend high school?
I grew up in the public schools in Jackson. There was never an option, and financially there really wasn't an option to do anything but. And I started first grade at Boyd Elementary in Jackson the very year they fully integrated the schools, and we were the first class to go from 1 through 12
wow, that's very interesting.
In a fully integrated environment. So I never knew segregation. And I graduated from her in 1983.
So you were a pretty competitive guy. Do you know what you graduated with? Do you know what your GPA was? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I mean, it was good.
It was good.
Okay. It was good.
I bet you it was better than mine. Some of the people watching.
I will tell you what. My scores in PE weren't too good. But I was kind of a nerd. I really was, and I enjoyed school. I really did.
So what about after high school? Sort of where did the world take you?
I grew up in Jackson, and I was going to go to Millsaps, and I had everything worked out. And the very last minute, I thought, that's like 13th grade. That's right across the street from where I went to junior high school, Bailey Junior High. So I put an application for Mississippi State, and I got accepted. I got up there. They threw me in an upperclassman dorm, and I had to lobby for about 2 weeks to get moved to a freshman dorm.
It was
like
it all worked out. Having big brothers all over again.
Yeah. But it was great. It was good.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your? Did you have a job in high school or college or anything?
I did actually.
Well, what was your first job?
Oh man, I was the manager of the supply store when I was like in 8th grade at Bailey Junior High School.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had to do inventory, count the money and everything, and I managed that supply store. Got into
in 8th grade.
Yeah, in 8th grade.
Wow.
Got into high school, and one of the big jobs of student council, and I was student council all the way through.
Okay.
Was running the popcorn machine for the basketball game. And so I used to really make some good popcorn.
Man.
Yeah.
In 8th grade, I don't know what I was doing in 8th grade. It wasn't working.
But that was not my first job. I mean, that was my job in school, but my parents worked me. They actually got a little.
Do you remember what your first job was? How old were you?
I was about 8 years old, and I got paid $5 to rake a lady's yard, and it all started from there.
No wow.
And when I was about 12, 13, my parents started getting into buying some rental properties because my dad didn't make all that much as a letter carrier, and my mother loved coming to Natchez. She liked going to all these nice places. So we started buying some real property, and so I started learning how to paint houses when I was, I think, somewhere between 12, 13, somewhere in there. And I would paint houses and cut yards.
That's pretty amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's,
and to this day, I actually like to paint.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. It's immediate satisfaction to see something transformed into a beautiful space.
So this hard work that you've been doing over the last year, this isn't something new to you.
Listen, I actually do love to do things and be busy. Yeah, thank you.
Well, what about your, looking back, what is your best job, your favorite job, and your worst job?
Oh, man. Oh, God. I know my worst job. I literally had to learn how to do plumbing when we had these rental properties, and crawling under a house and getting nasty and having water and having a toilet pipe, come apart and spew in your face. It's a wonder I survived all that. What I decided is I definitely don't want to be a plumber. No, never, ever again will I ever. I've done a little plumbing. When you have to, you have to.
Yeah.
I've done some here in Natchez, but I don't recommend it. If you want a really lousy plumbing job done at your house, call Dan Gibson. I mean, you're going to get what you pay for, and it won't be much because I can't do it.
No, man. That's why those guys get paid a lot.
That's right.
Because it's a tough job.
That's right.
Goodness. So why don't you sort of quickly just sort of walk us through your journey and how you got to Natchez?
Well, it all started, I can't even tell you when. I was so young. But my parents, I was just really blessed. They loved to put us all in a car and take us for a picnic somewhere, or take us for a day out. And that's what you could do and not have to spend much money. And the river was a real draw. And so we would go to the battlefields in Vicksburg. We'd drive down here. And then my mother started meeting people here, and she got hooked on touring some of the mansions, going to some of the shops. My mother was one of those, typical Southern ladies, loved antiques.
Yeah.
And golly, who wouldn't like the fried chicken at the carriage house? And so I told my parents, it got into my blood. I said, I get homesick every time I leave Natchez. I want to live there one day.
What age do you remember Natchez?
Oh, man, I really remember early teens. It really started getting in. And then I had an older brother, my brother Craig, who got a job managing the burn for Buzz Harper. And I was in, I guess, maybe 9th grade. And I get to come down here and stay overnight and be in Natchez and hang out. And that's really when it started getting in my blood. I can remember the sweet olive smell in the fall, and that became my favorite smell. I remember the rotten egg smell, too, when the paper mill was here. And that was just the smell of money. And to me, it was the smell of Natchez. I loved it.
Yeah.
The closer we get to Natchez on the trace, the more we smell it, and I knew we were almost there.
So, what is your favorite thing about Natchez?
The people. Oh, my gosh. Natchez is the people.
That's right.
And it's amazing. It really is amazing. I mean, all the people I've met here and become friends, like you, right?
Yeah.
And Melissa, and so many people who have enriched my life. And there's so many people here I had no clue existed just a few years ago, and now I count them as my best friend.
Everybody knows everybody because that's how we are. That's if you want to be a part of this community, and if you want to be a positive part of this community, the opportunities are there.
Is there?
There's a lot of people that, if you're not a part of this community, you're really missing out.
You really are.
It's very welcoming,
and
the opportunities are there. The people are great.
People are so down to earth. Now, of course, any community, you're going to have a few sore heads, but hey, we love them too.
That's right.
Just pray for them a little more.
That's right. That's right. So, who is somebody that you've met along the way that's really made a difference in your life?
In life general?
Yeah, just anywhere in your journey to where you are today.
Oh, gosh,
who is somebody that really stands out?
So many. Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, I can think of my high school choir director, Carl Twiner. We're friends to this day. He's now the director of the music program at Tougaloo College. But golly, what that man poured into me. I can think of Dr. Zacharias, president of Mississippi State University, one of my greatest mentors in this life. I can think of oh my gosh, just go on and on. I mean, don't get me started. I can think of, I got to tell you this one. Doug Anderson, he was a long-time supervisor in Hinds County, one of the early African-American members of the state legislature. And I knew him from age, second grade. I grew up with his son.
Wow. Yeah.
And he was one of my mentors and opened a lot of doors for me professionally. Ronnie, my girlfriend Marla, I wouldn't be married without her. And I met her in Natchez.
Did you?
And she and I both moved to Natchez, and she didn't even know she was. It's a funny story how all that worked out, but she came here on the girls' trip thinking she was going to Natchez. Ended up in Natchez. She said, "Is this Natchez? No, this is Natchez." She came here 2 weeks later to look for a place to live, and thank God she did, because she's one of the amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. I've gotten to know her some. She's an amazing person, and it's I'm proud to have gotten to know y'all a little bit better, and look forward to getting to know you even more over the next months and years. We're neighbors. We're not too far away from each other.
That's right.
So before we're going to take a quick commercial break in just a minute, but before we do that, and then we're going to get into some fun stuff. What advice? I see all these people that are dropping their freshmen off at college, and it makes me so happy to see these kids from around here, and they're going off. What's one piece of advice that you would give those kids?
Oh man, just cherish every moment. It goes by so fast. And we just recently had a great send off for all of those graduates of Natchez Early College. These kids And one thing, all at once they got their high school diploma and their associate's degree. They're all about to enter as juniors in college, and I'm just telling them, man, enjoy every moment. But this is also what I'm telling them. But if you're going somewhere to college local, that's great. Stick around. Yeah. If you're going off for college, hey, that's good. Get your degree, but then come back. We're building opportunity for you. We want you to stay in Natchez.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's good advice. And there's opportunity here now for that.
A lot of opportunity.
Just with each day that passes, there's more and more opportunity to come back and to be a part of this community.
Major announcements happening all the time.
Man, there's such great news every time I turn around. Yeah, it makes me feel good to be just a small part of it. It makes me feel good to wake up every day and to be a part of it. So
me too.
We're going to take a quick break to recognize our awesome partners who make this show possible.
Welcome to your new hospital, Trinity Medical. Located in Faraday, Trinity Medical is the only acute care facility in the Tri-Parish area. Here, you'll find an active pursuit of holistic health, a strong, honest group of clinicians, and a consciousness of others that transcends the 80,000 square feet committed to you and your loved ones. Trinity Medical. People you know, caring for people you love.
Come see us for all your handmade and fine jewelry needs here at 415 Main Street in Natchez, Mississippi. You can also find us on the web at risingshowstudio.com. Always remember to smile big, shine bright, and enjoy the journey.
Hampton Inn Natchez is the premier place to stay when visiting our historical town. Situated on the Mississippi River, you will have access to unforgettable views and all of downtown's best amenities. So, next time you visit beautiful downtown Natchez, check out Hampton Inn and Suites. So, we talked a little bit about your upbringing and all of those fun things, but now let's have a little bit of fun. We're going to shift it over on you. We're both music guys.
Yeah.
So you're a little bit more. You're a little more accomplished on the musician side. I'm a songwriter.
Man.
But we're both music guys.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody what instruments do you play?
I started playing piano by ear when I was about 4. Picking out hymns and stuff.
Wow.
And I love the piano. And I tell people the piano is really important in my life because it's kept me sane for the most part, and it's kept me out of jail for the most part. And but I started taking classical when I was a kid. I guess I was 7 years old maybe. And so I did learn a lot of classical. And one of my early ambitions in life was to be a classical, concert pianist.
Yeah.
And that wasn't in the cards for me. And now that I've gotten older, I just rely on my ear, and I love playing by ear, and I love playing on a lot of stuff. I enjoy singing. I was in the Murrah Singers, and I did some singing in church, and anyway through the years. But a few years ago, I did pick up the guitar. I love the acoustic guitar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm lousy at it, but I do love it.
Me too. I tell people, they say, you play guitar? I'm like, well, I hate to say that I play guitar because I have friends that actually play. I'm a songwriter guitar player.
I bet you're great. I can pick out a little, lean on a jet plane or something, but I do enjoy music. Love it.
I play it well enough to where I take it to my producer and say, you hear what I'm trying to do here? And he says, I got you. I'll take it from here. So
man.
And then he makes it sound cool.
I want to hear your stuff, bro. I can't wait. I want to hear your stuff.
So what is your favorite memory of playing music? Do you have like a memory that kind of sticks out to you?
Number one, my favorite memory is playing with my son. And I'll start tearing up, but I have a son who's an amazing guitarist. His name is Clark. He is 27 years old. And one of the things that bothers me a little bit about being mayor now is I just told someone the other day, in fact, I think I repeated it today, is I'm not often there where my heart most desires to be because this job pulls me in so many directions. But there have been times when my son and I have set up, me on the piano, him on the guitar, and we played a gig all night long somewhere.
Wow.
And I think we've enjoyed it more than anybody else.
Is that your Facebook profile picture, maybe? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of those moments.
So he's a great guitar player.
He's amazing.
When did
But
he
he's
start
really,
playing?
but my son is very different from me. I'm an extrovert. He's an introvert.
Yeah.
And I can't get him to play in public much. But we're going to get out there again one day.
Yeah, but we're going to make that happen.
We got to make that happen.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite type of music?
My favorite type of music, gosh, well, for years it was classical and gospel and bluegrass and of course I grew up in the era too, just loving it all. I love Motown.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love Motown. I had a roommate in college who loved Smokey Robinson, and for 2 years of my life, I went to bed listening to Smokey Robinson every single night. But the older I get now, I've really gotten into jazz. Jazz came a little later in life for me, but I really love jazz, and I really love the blues. And getting to know Wazzy Ely and actually being able to play with Wazzy a little bit, be on the piano, him on the guitar, what an amazing experience that is. But gospel is still man. I just love gospel. It's soulful expression is what it is.
That's right.
And I don't care if it was Beethoven pouring his heart out and the tragedies of his life and some of the most incredible classical music ever written, or if it was Stevie Ray Vaughan with amazing stories in his life, pouring it out in some amazing blues.
That's right.
And then everybody in between. Golly, and too, B.B. King.
Where's B.B. King originally from?
The Mississippi Delta.
Mississippi Delta.
He actually grew up on a plantation up there picking cotton.
Oh, wow.
He was born about the same time my dad was, and they both lived about the same span of life.
Oh, wow.
And it's an amazing thing. My dad, in his last 2 or 3 years of life, got to actually very feebly make his way to a concert in Florida.
Wow.
My brother took him to see B.B. King.
Wow.
And B.B. King was in the last 2 years of his life.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of my dad's greatest memories of his later years.
I mean, he's as legendary as it gets.
Oh man, and Lucille.
No doubt about it.
I tell you, wasn't Lucille a Gibson guitar? By the way,
I think it was. We're getting the yes. We're getting the yes.
All right.
So
I
from
had to get
another
that out
aspect,
there.
That's right. That's right.
That's one of my ambitions in life is to own a Gibson.
You keep working hard. we'll make that happen. You keep working hard for now.
Yeah.
Goodness. All right, so we're talking about, we all know that what a great job that you have done and are continuing to do for the city. We're talking about you playing piano, and we know that all these things that you're really good at.
Well, thank you, Ronnie.
But don't thank me yet because I'm going to change it.
Okay.
I want you to tell us something that you're not very good at.
Oh man, that's so easy. That's so easy. I don't have to worry too much about humility. I have so much humble pie. I've eaten so much. Number one, I'm lousy at sports. I was always the last one picked, and I'll do a number on you when you're fire engine, red hair, nothing but freckles and crooked teeth, and then you don't get chosen. I mean, that will really do a number on you. And I will tell you this too. One thing that I'm not really good at is just taking a moment to enjoy the victories. I'm kind of hard on myself. And people tell me all the time, you need to slow down a little bit and enjoy, smell the roses and enjoy the victories. And we've got a lot to celebrate here.
I get told the same thing. Melissa tells me, you don't have a rear view mirror. And I'm the same way, Finish something, and then the next day I'm like, well, what's next? Let's roll. And so I understand where you're coming from, and it's just part of our personality trait. Our personalities are a lot alike, and that's just the downside.
Yeah.
There's a lot of upside to the personality trait, but that is one of the downsides, and it's hard to do.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and you're serving others, and you're following your passions, but try to slow it down every now and then, and take some time for yourself, and take some time to reflect. I'm telling me and you
that's the truth. It is.
When you're not wearing your mayor hat, what type of things would we see you around town doing?
I don't know. You probably see me at home at 2 a.m. sleeping. I mean, it seems like I'm wearing a mayor hat all the time. But really, I love the outdoors. And one of the greatest things in life to me is to canoe a river or to hike a mountain. And some of my favorite experiences in life have been literally with my son out in Colorado or the Grand Canyon and reading a book.
Yeah.
And I'm actually someone who has been known to write books. I love books. I do.
Never cease. I always, every time I hang around with you, I learn something new.
One of the things I wish I had more time to do is write. I did a few years ago. I wrote a novel that's on Amazon now.
Oh, wow.
It's a murder mystery called Oxford Redemption.
Oxford
Redemption.
Okay, wow.
And so one day I'm going to do more writing.
Yeah. It's very therapeutic, like I said, from writing music, doing radio interviews, they always ask me the same thing. What got you into writing? And I always tell them because I couldn't afford therapy. I knew 3 chords and I knew I couldn't afford therapy, so I started writing.
That's awesome.
It's very therapeutic, and it's a good way to get that energy out, that energy that we have. I'm going to take one more quick break, and we'll be back with our speed round with Mayor Dan Gibson.
Welcome to your new hospital, Trinity Medical. Located in Faraday, Trinity Medical is the only acute care facility in the Tri-Parish area. Here, you'll find an active pursuit of holistic health, a strong, honest group of clinicians, and a consciousness of others that transcends the 80,000 square feet committed to you and your loved ones. Trinity Medical. People you know, caring for people you love.
Come see us for all your handmade and fine jewelry needs here at 415 Main Street in Natchez, Mississippi. You can also find us on the web at riseandshinestudio.com. Always remember to smile big, shine bright, and enjoy the journey.
Hampton Inn, Natchez is the premier place to stay when visiting our historical town. Situated on the Mississippi River, you will have access to unforgettable views and all of downtown's best amenities. So, next time you visit beautiful downtown Natchez, check out Hampton Inn and Suites. So let's jump into the speed round.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna say something, you just kind of shoot back without putting a whole lot of thought into it. Favorite food?
French fries.
Steak or chicken?
Steak.
I'm with you on that. Since we're so close to Louisiana, I said shrimp or crawfish?
Oh man, that's a tough one now. That's kind of a draw. I love me some shrimp though.
Well, mine was made easy for me because I found out a couple of years ago I'm allergic to shrimp. So,
no.
So by default, I fall on the only crawfish side.
Oh man.
So, first thing you eat or drink in the mornings?
Cup of hot tea.
Hot tea?
Every morning.
Yeah,
Cup of hot tea.
Me too. So,
breakfast is hit or miss.
Are you a tea guy or a coffee guy?
I never really like coffee. I'll drink coffee sometimes, but I'm really just give me a nice Earl Grey. I really
I'm
like
glad to hear that because people pick on me, and that's what I drink every morning.
Really? Oh man.
Hot tea every morning.
Yeah. Good old English breakfast tea.
Yeah.
Don't give me any daily TV. Oh, don't give me any caffeine-free tea. What's the point?
Exactly.
I'm not going to waste that.
Exactly.
Waste time on that.
Exactly. I get picked on for that, so I'm glad to know that. Favorite movie?
Oh gosh, I love movies. All right, I'll tell you the one that's been on my mind lately is The Help. Oh gosh,
yeah.
Who doesn't love The Help?
Yeah.
Octavia Spencer and our own Tate Taylor.
That's right.
I mean, that movie, the way he produced that movie and it put Mississippi on the map. But there's so many.
Yeah.
That would take all
night. What about, you said you like to read hardback book or read on your phone?
Oh man, I used to say hardback, and I have a pretty good collection. But nowadays, because I'm reading late at night and I need that illumination, I'm reading on my phone.
Favorite city to visit?
Believe it or not, before I moved here, it was Natchez.
Was it?
And now I had to come up with another city, and I've been struggling because I just love Natchez so much. But I love going to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I love our nation's capital. I love the history. I love Washington, D.C. Lived there once. But I still enjoy visiting Jackson. Now I live here. That's where I grew up. It's kind of sentimental to go back to Jackson. And I truly believe we have a beautiful capital city. And talk about people being negative. People need to let up and start noticing all the museums, all that we got going on in Jackson. Yeah. I'm proud of Jackson.
Yeah. Most used app on your phone?
Facebook. And it's not my favorite app. But oh my gosh, it wears me out trying to keep up with it. Here lately, I just, I've fallen behind, Ronnie. I'm kind of overwhelmed right now. I can't keep up with the messages.
Well,
I've become a lousy Facebook friend.
I can only imagine, with your schedule and everything that you have to deal with, how you can keep up. Biggest fear, snakes or spiders?
Snakes. Snakes. I can take care of a spider. I tell you what. But and I'm wearing cowboy boots a lot of the time, but you can really get a spider with that. But no, I don't like snakes.
All right, so which do you prefer, dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Me too.
Man, I love dogs. But you know I've got a cat too. I love cats, but dogs always been.
I'm with you on that. Last question of the speed round. This one may get you in trouble. I think I already know the answer. Bulldogs, Rebels, or Tigers?
Bulldogs.
I'm a Tiger. Come on.
Oh man.
Come
But
on.
I will say, Tigers whenever they're playing anybody, except either, and this is gonna get me in trouble, but I gotta pull from Mississippi. So I'm always pulling for Ole Miss as long as they're not playing State. And then I'm always pulling for LSU as long as they're not playing Ole Miss or State. But State, it doesn't matter who they're playing.
Okay.
I'm gonna be for State.
Fair enough.
4 years.
Fair
Hey.
enough. Yeah, I'll let you pass.
Hey, I love you though.
From a Tiger, I'll let you slide on that one.
Hey, that's only one game a year, right?
That's right.
Maybe two. You kind of
That's right. In closing, why don't you tell us about your vision for Natchez moving forward, and what it's going to take for us to accomplish that as a community?
Man, I want to see us be the city that is truly the shining city on this beautiful hill we've got, and it's just a city of love. And I believe we're getting there. I really believe we're getting there, and we're going to. And so I really want to see our city grow into a city of love.
And I'm very confident that we're going to do that. We're well on our way, and I'm very confident that we're going to do that together. I tell people all the time, we can't expect you to carry all of the weight for us. All of us watching, myself included, we have to do our part in this community to keep this thing going and make it the best community, because we have something special here.
Yeah.
And you're leading us, but we have to do our part too. So, well, thank you very much for sitting down with me. I know you're very busy, but it's greatly appreciated. And you are our very first champion spotlight.
I'm honored.
I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching this. Follow us on Facebook. We'll put the link below. Just follow us, support positivity wherever you can. Hopefully this encourages everybody out there to want to do more, because we are going to shine the spotlight on champion after champion after champion, and there's plenty to get to. So I want to say thank you for watching. God bless, and as always, have a champion day.